Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Nancy Joseph, aka The Dynamic Doc. Welcome back to my channel. So, just hoping that everyone is staying safe throughout this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. I hope that everyone is practicing good hand hygiene and taking heed to the very important recommendations and staying safe during this time and practicing our social distancing. And shout out to my fellow physicians out there on the front lines, self-sacrificing to, help all of those in need. So with this video, we'll pick up where we left off in the last video. Now we're between the second and third year of medical school. Now kind of ending the basic science years, which is the end of second year, and then getting ready to begin the largely clinical portion of the medical school training, which is third year. But in between the second and third year, something very important happens, and that's the Step 1 or COMLEX 1 if you're in DO school. So with this video, I'll largely concentrate on the resources and studying for that exam. So in general, it's important to note that the studying for Step 1 or COMLEX 1 really starts first year of medical school, because the things that you're covering first and second year of medical school is what's being tested on that exam. So you want to make sure that you take the time necessary during that those couple of years to learn the material properly, and not just kind of learn just enough for the exams. In my medical school, the curriculum was separated into blocks. And so the blocks were by system. So the blocks are typically 4 weeks. And then, there's a block for cardiovascular system, a block for gastrointestinal, a block for respiratory, that type of thing. And so, at the end of each block, there's an exam. So you want to make sure, you're not just cramming and just, shoving these things into your short-term memory, because you're going to need them, what you learn later for the Step 1. And so, throughout the first and second year, it's good then to kind of hone in on the best resources for your type of learning. So that should kind of have been done first and second year. So to that end, a very important resource to have, both for studying for the COMLEX 1 or Step 1 exam, but also in general that proves to be helpful throughout your first and second year, is a book called First Aid for the USMLE Step 1. Now, this book is dense, but it has lots of information in it. But again, it's not a book that you're just sitting down and reading straight through. It's something that you want to have had in your possession, even from the beginning. Because as I said, my medical school was separated into blocks into systems, or blocks of systems. And the book is largely organized that way. And so oftentimes I would use that book to get a good general idea of the important things to focus on, during that block. And then of course I had other, books and resources, and of course lecture PowerPoints and notes that I'd go through, to flesh things out and get the details, that type of thing. But for the Step 1s, you're going to be your key guide. Everything else is in addition to. So, other than that book, there are a myriad of companies that offer courses that then come with their separate, materials. Some of them come with a book. Some of them come with a series of books that you can use to follow along. So there are audios. And I'll link some of those down below, some of the ones that I used. There are companies like Kaplan, Doctors in Training. There's another one, and I'll again link it down below, that was also very good. But by and large, you want to pick the one that best fits you and your learning style. So to that end, before even the second half of second year of med school even started, we had, various companies come and give talks about their, company, their products that they have to offer, and just the style of their program. So that way, by the time it was time for us to kind of kick it into gear to study for Step 1 or COMLEX 1, most of us had an idea of which sources that we're going to use. So, and speaking of that, the Step 1 or COMLEX 1 is not an exam that you want to get started maybe a couple of months before. What you want to do is you want to plan well in advance. That the exam is usually taken the summer between second and third year of medical school. So what you want to do is start around January, like studying, not start. You want to plan before that so that okay, this is my plan of attack, because you want to have a study plan and take it little bits at a time, because you'll get extreme mental fatigue and tired if you're trying to do too much all at once. And, it's just easier to digest small amounts so that you can have the proper time and start early, so you can have the proper time to look things up, get clarification, and go to various sources if you need to, so that you want to study effectively that way. And like I said, if you're a visual learner, there may be programs that are better for you. If you, learn more by listening, there's programs that may be better for you in that modality. So it's very important that you learn those. So there's courses, and I talk about a very essential book. So then otherwise, there are question banks. So one of which being UWORLD, which is very well known. There's also a question bank specifically for the COMLEX. Again, I'll link some of those down below. And that way, in addition to you studying with the materials that you've had, you can use those exams or those questions to kind of gauge where you are. And a lot of the Q banks have kind of simulated exams where you can kind of take kind of like a practice exam. Sometimes you can even take a pre-one, kind of see where your weak areas are, so you'll know which ones to kind of concentrate on or to pay special attention to during your studies. And then you can take, you can do obviously a little tests along the way, or you can kind of schedule mock exams for yourself throughout that time, so that you can both get a good gauge on what your knowledge base is at different periods, and also get you're familiar with what level of stamina you'll need, because the COMLEX or USMLE Step 1s they are long exams. I mean, it's a full day thing. You'll it's literally like an 8-hour exam, and so with like lunch in between and some breaks, some scheduled breaks in between, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So just like you would train for a marathon, this is, you have to train both with knowledge and how you allocate your time management and how you allocate your energy, and, making sure that you take care of yourself nutrition wise, and, sleep hygiene, so that's kind of the gist on the preparation for, the USMLE Step 1 or COMLEX 1. And that exam is very important, and so much energy is put into it because it is one of the key things that is used by residency programs to pick their candidates for interviews and ultimately for acceptance into their program. Oftentimes, residency programs use it as a screening tool to even figure out which candidates that they're going to even invite for an interview. So that's why it's super important. So you want to do it right and get the information and get the right resources so that you can put your best foot forward. So that's that. So what I'll do, as I said, I'll link the some of the resources down below, and I'll also link the last video down below, so you can go ahead and check that out if you haven't had a chance to do so. So stay tuned for more of the Dynamic Doc Adventures, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Be blessed and stay safe. Peace.